Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today, we're diving into a really interesting idea, this concept of the AI horseless carriage.
Hmm.
Think about, when cars first appeared, one of our sources made this great point. Those early cars, they didn't really reinvent transport, did they?
No, not at all.
And
They basically look like carriages, just
yeah.
without the horse.
Exactly. We even looked at an old picture, an 1803 steam carriage. And it's clearly a carriage with an engine bolted on, wood frame, the whole
Wow.
deal.
Right.
So the big question is, are we kind of doing the same thing with AI right now? Are we just jamming these AI engines into our existing software, our old ways of doing things, without really stopping to think, hey, what could this actually enable?
That's a really sharp observation. It definitely makes you think about how often we do that with new tech, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Our first impulse is often just to, pour the new wine into the old bottles.
Yeah.
We try to make it fit the models we already get.
Mm.
But AI, it's different. It's probabilistic. It finds patterns. Maybe it needs fundamentally different kinds of applications than, say, traditional software, which is more deterministic step by step.
Right. So that's our goal today, really. We want to understand why we keep seeing these AI horseless carriages, and then how do we get past that? And maybe the most fun part, what could truly AI native stuff look like?
Yeah, let's get into that.
We know you want those aha moments, the insights that click, without getting bogged down in, super technical jargon. So wherever you are on the tech spectrum, we'll keep this accessible and hopefully pretty interesting.
And it's funny, this feeling that current AI features are often just bolted on. It comes up a lot.
Yeah.
We were looking at a Hacker News thread, and loads of people were saying similar things.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, one person, Josh Strange, they were saying they really struggle to find AI features they actually like outside of maybe coding assistance. They mentioned preferring to just go straight to ChatGPT or Claude directly, rather than using the AI features built into things like, say, Gmail.
That's interesting. It sort of suggests the integrated versions feel watered down, or maybe just not as useful.
Exactly. And another commenter, Dangus, they put it even more strongly. They said a lot of these AI products feel like, and this is their term, castrated versions of ChatGPT Claude Gemini.
Wow. Okay. Strong words.
Yeah, just thin wrappers on top. They talk about a really frustrating time trying to troubleshoot some smart home device with an AI chatbot. Basically just spat back the manual and couldn't think outside that box at all.
Ugh, that sounds unhelpful.
Totally. And they had a similar bad experience with Amazon Q for just basic cloud service question. So it raises that question, are these integrations adding real value or is it just hype?
But it wasn't all negative, was it? I remember seeing some positive examples mentioned too.
True, true. P. Kuman, who wrote one of the essays we looked at, they actually had good things to say about simple, direct uses, like using ChatGPT directly, or specific coding tools like Cursor or Windsurf.
Okay, so maybe it works best when it's focused, when the AI has a clear job to do without too much extra stuff layered on.
That seems to be a theme, yeah, where the AI strengths are applied directly.
Okay.
Another example was Leo Eden on Hacker News talking about Google's Notebook LM.
Oh, what's that?
It helps analyze really dense documents. They found it genuinely useful for that specific task. But interestingly, they also made the point that AI chatbots, they can't actually do anything. They can't take actions. They're basically just fancy search engines.
Right, just talking heads. That makes sense. And then there was the whole discussion about AI for meeting notes. That seemed mixed.
Very mixed. Yeah, lots of skepticism there. People like Josh Strange again and Yo-Yo Hello 131, they pointed out how these AI note takers often miss the important nuances, the context.
The stuff between the lines.
Exactly. And someone called HTS84 shared this pretty concerning story about a manager who relied too heavily on AI summaries.
Oh no, what happened?
The AI missed some really crucial conditions in a business offer, which, caused big problems down the line. It really underscores that, well, you still need a human in the loop, right? You need that critical thinking.
Absolutely. AI might get the words down, but understanding the meaning, the priorities,
Yeah.
that's still tricky for it.
It definitely struggles with that deeper level, yeah.
And we also saw chatter about AI email assistants, both on Hacker News and in that Pete Kuman essay. What was the general feeling there?
Pretty similar, actually. A lot of critiques that they just do. They take a short, simple email and puff it up into something longer and more formal.
Right, like it's trying too hard to sound professional.
Exactly. And it often loses the sender's actual voice, their style, which can make it less effective, ironically.
Is that the Hey Gary example?
That's the one. Yeah, the essay shows this contrast. The AI generates this polite but kind of generic "I'm sick" email,
Hmm.
but the human version is just like, "Hey Gary, feeling rough, won't be in. Catch up tomorrow." Short, direct, personal.
And probably more effective in context, yeah.
Yeah,
It highlights that gap between AI efficiency and, well, human communication.
totally.
Okay, so we've seen a bunch of these AI horseless carriages. We get the examples, but why does this keep happening? The essay talks about old world thinking. What's that about?
Yeah, Pete Kumin's idea of old world thinking is really key here. It's basically about our human tendency to take something brand new, a new technology, and just sort of cram it into the boxes we already understand.
Like the car looking like a carriage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, okay, this engine thing opens up totally new possibilities for transport, the first thought was, let's just replace the horse part. And we're maybe doing that with AI, trying to fit its capabilities into our existing software structures and workflows.
Instead of rethinking the whole structure, the whole workflow from the ground up, based on what AI can do.
Precisely. We're still mostly used to software that does specific, pre-programmed things, right?
Mm-hmm.
We click buttons, it performs functions.
Right. Deterministic.
Yeah. But AI is more dynamic, more adaptable. Trying to force it into those old rigid frameworks, it really limits what it could potentially achieve.
And wasn't there a point on Hacker News about company incentives? Like internal pressure?
Oh, yeah, Kara Cream mentioned that. The idea that companies might feel pressure to quickly roll out any AI feature just to, ride the hype wave and show they're doing AI,
Ah, chase the buzzword.
which could lead to these features being maybe less thoughtful, less integrated, less durable, more like quick add-ons than fundamental changes.
Okay, so that explains why we're stuck in this phase. How do we get out? How do we move beyond the horseless carriage and start building, I don't know, the AI equivalent of a spaceship?
Well, the essay suggests a pretty interesting path forward. Pete Kumin argues the key is actually empowering users more directly
Empowering users. How?
by giving them the ability to build their own agents, specifically by letting them define their own system prompts.
Okay, hang on. System prompt versus user prompt. What's the difference there?
Right, good question. So the user prompt is basically what you tell the AI to do in the moment, like write me an email about X.
Okay.
The system prompt is more foundational. It's like the AI's job description, its personality, the overall context, the rules it should follow all the time. It sets the stage before you even give it a specific task.
Ah, I see. So instead of developers trying to guess what kind of AI agent everyone needs.
Exactly. Instead of building these one-size-fits-all agents, the focus should shift. Developers should build agent builders, platforms and tools that let you, the user, craft your own AI assistants by setting up those system prompts yourself, tailored to your specific job, your specific workflow, your specific needs.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like giving people the ability to customize their AI tools way beyond just simple settings.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because context is king, right? The essay used the example of an accounting team at Y Combinator. A generic accounting AI wouldn't know their specific software, their internal processes, the quirky ways they do things.
Right. It'd be pretty useless.
But an agent they configured with a system prompt defining all that context, that could be incredibly powerful.
Okay, and another piece of this puzzle was tools, right? Giving the agents ways to interact with the world.
Yes, absolutely critical. Tools are what let these AI agents actually do things beyond just generating text or code. Think of it like giving the AI hands to, say, send an email, or eyes to read your calendar, or access to a specific database.
So it's not just a brain in a vat. It can actually perform actions in the digital world.
Exactly. Tools enable actions. Scheduling meetings, booking flights, updating records, querying data sources. This is what moves AI from being just a conversational partner to being a genuine assistant that can take tasks off your plate.
And there's a security aspect too, isn't there?
Huge. The tools framework also acts as a crucial control layer. You define which tools an agent can use, which actions it's allowed to take. It prevents the AI from going rogue and doing things it shouldn't. This connects back to some Hacker News comments, too, about how LLMs are powerful but limited on their own. They become much more useful when integrated with other systems and tools.
Okay, this is starting to paint a picture. If we have users defining their own agents through system prompts, and those agents have access to specific, secure tools, what kind of new applications could emerge? Stuff that's truly AI native, not just a feature tacked on. Where do we go beyond the clunky wooden frame?
Yeah, that's where it gets really exciting to think about. Let's take that AI native email client idea from the essay.
Right.
The goal isn't just, how can AI help me write this email faster? The fundamental goal shifts to how can AI minimize the total time I spend dealing with email, period.
Whoa. Okay, how would that work?
Imagine an agent you've configured. It understands your priorities, who's important, what kinds of emails need your immediate attention. It could automatically sort, filter, archive, maybe even draft replies for routine stuff based on your past emails and access to your calendar via a tool.
So less time in the inbox, less time drafting, less time organizing, because the agent is handling a lot of the grunt work proactively.
Exactly. It's a total paradigm shift from just being a writing assistant.
Yeah,
And you can apply that thinking everywhere.
like where else?
Well, think about accounting again. Instead of just helping input data, what if AI native accounting software actively managed your books? It spots anomalies based on patterns, maybe flags unusual spending, prepares draft reports, all with minimal prompting because its system prompt defines the rules and it has tools to access your bank data, etc.
Okay, yeah. Less bookkeeping drudgery. What about, say, law?
You could imagine highly specialized legal agents, not replacing lawyers, but assisting them with incredibly specific tasks. Maybe an agent configured to understand the nuances of a particular type of case law, using tools to instantly pull relevant precedents or analyze discovery documents based on parameters set by the legal team.
Hmm. What about creative stuff? Hacker News had that debate about AI, video, and art. Can we imagine AI native tools there that aren't just about generating images or video clips?
That's a really interesting frontier. Maybe AI native creative tools are less about generating the final product and more about enhancing the human creative process. Imagine AI agents helping with complex storyboarding options, generating code for interactive art installations based on high-level concepts, or assisting musicians with intricate arrangements in a way that feels collaborative.
And adapts to your style. Someone mentioned wanting AI to respond like them.
Yeah, Foggersiger brought that up. The potential for AI to genuinely learn and adapt to your individual style, your preferences, over time. That's huge. Moving beyond generic outputs to something truly personalized. That feels very AI native.
And what about agents talking to other agents? Could that streamline things?
Potentially, yeah. For certain routine tasks, absolutely.
Mm,
Imagine your scheduling agent coordinating directly with someone else's agent to find a meeting time, using calendar tools, without all the back and forth emails between the humans.
that could save a lot of time, like managing supply chains or processing standard transactions between companies. AI agents handling the routine communication based on rules we set.
It really opens up possibilities for efficiency, freeing up humans for the more complex, strategic, or uniquely human parts of the work. Though, of course, ethical considerations become really important there too.
Definitely. Okay, so wrapping this up, we've really dug into this AI horseless carriage idea. We've seen how current AI often feels like an add-on, sort of stuck in that old world thinking.
Mhm.
But we've also explored a way forward, empowering users to build their own agents with system prompts and tools.
Right, shifting from prepackaged solutions to customizable agent builders.
And that opens the door to imagining truly AI-native applications that don't just improve existing workflows, but fundamentally reimagine them. Like that email example, aiming for less time in email overall, not just faster typing.
Exactly. The real transformation happens when we stop just trying to automate the old ways and start designing entirely new ways of working and living built around AI's capabilities from the start.
So here's a final thought for you to chew on. Think about your own day, your work, your personal life. What parts feel clunky, inefficient, or just stuck in an old way of doing things?
Hmm.
Now imagine you could design your own AI agent, tailor it with your context, give it the right tools. How could that fundamentally reshape that inefficient part of your life? Think beyond just making the current process faster. How could it be completely different?
It's a powerful question to consider as this technology continues to evolve.
Thanks for exploring all this with us today. Hopefully it gives you a new lens to view AI's development.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll catch you next time.